It's your girl, Miss Motivational Mogul Mindset, Ava Cherie, the Inspirer. What's happening? It is raining up here on the East Coast where I'm at, and I'm multitasking, and I like to spend my time wisely. So I'm coming today for a Wake Up Wednesday, of course, and I wanted to talk about endurance during your suffering. Over the last couple of weeks, I've suffered two great losses in the physical and in a relationship. The impression that has left on me and the power that restoration has had on me is that God will restore and can restore even during the grief and the loss. Healing can take place. There will be a range of emotions that you'll go through. There will be a range of emotions from every spectrum, questions in your head, and even doubt sometimes. But personally, what I have taken away is that when you know yourself, when you assess the environment, when you go through those bouts of questioning yourself, it is very essential, especially when you lose a relationship, for instance, that might have not gone so well. Weigh the pros and cons of the destruction and the disaster and the toxicity that you had during that. Weigh the scale of imbalance and what love means for you and how you value yourself and respect yourself, and see where's the thing that caused some doubt on how you were being treated. For me, I'm healing from some very poor choices that no foundation can stand upon. I feel a high level of betrayal. However, I don't have hatred, and I'm not harboring unforgiveness, because things tend to be black and white the entire time, but we don't look at the black and white. We read the black and white, we see the black and white, but what we don't pay attention to is the red flags. And so when there's continuous red flags and you try to stuff it down and put the flag back down and see if it'll work and see if the other person that's operating where they're operating will see the red flags, and it doesn't change, you'll start to notice that may not even be a red flag for them. That may be just the masks falling off, and that is who they are. And what happens is, when you're in a toxic relationship, you're so under the veil of so many things that drew you together in common, that the other person gets offended when you see the real them. And then you start to notice, like, hey, you sold me a lemon. Hey, you a scam artist. Hey, you a thief. Hey, you're a con artist. And you start to realize that the version that you entered into a relationship, partnership, businessship with, the motives were different. And then they expect you to, because you've been there for a while, maybe they expect you to operate with them in that delusional state of mind. They expect you to be like okay with that, because maybe they felt like you seen this and you ain't do nothing about it. So I thought you was game. I thought you was on. I thought you was with it. And when you're not with it, look, and the devil comes in to tell you all the years and months and days you've wasted arguing, trying to sort out and sift out something that wasn't of you, but is of the other person. When the devil comes and shames you and guilts you, realize and understand that there's a space in there where you can start your healing and stay close to who you are. There's a space in there where the healing takes place for you to remember your pure intentions, your good motives, what you brought, the things that you didn't serve up, the things that you were pleading that they stopped doing. You can start to heal from it, to know that, oh my God, yeah, I may have been triggered and reacted, but my spirit and my soul is right. My heart is good. So now I can start to heal and mend and massage my heart, take care and nurture my spirit, my mind, my body, preserve myself, take it back. And you can heal in that place until you find a good space and time and opportunity to depart and sever your ties with that situation. So in that, with the other grief I lost somebody who's like family to me. And during this time, the day of the loss, I was suffering my personal loss. And I realized in my walk, in my ministry, in my purpose, I didn't tell anybody what I was going through at home during their loss, because their loss, it was greater than mine in my eyes. But I showed up intentionally to support. And it helped me get distracted and get my mind off of self and focus on the need and prioritize the needs of the people, right? And I did it willfully, without agenda, without motive, but just genuinely wanting to be there and support. And so when we did the final viewing in the cemetery and the casket went in the ground, that was like the first time I had an outburst. And I realized I outburst because I was grieving and putting in a relationship, my personal relationship, along with that person who was leaving this earth in the physical body. And when it went down and lowered into the ground, I looked at the finality of things, and I seen the importance of life. I seen that if people view things at loss and grief like that, maybe they wouldn't do you as wrong. Maybe they wouldn't spend so much time being caught up in webs of deception and things and operating in evil spirits and witchcraft and darkness. Maybe they would spend more time before it got to that. And so I looked at it like anybody in my life that's already making me walking around in a living coffin, just waiting for my body to depart. Anybody that's crushing and trying to cripple my spirit, and they're killing parts of me. Ultimately, they just waiting for the day that I get lowered in the ground. And so I took back my power and authority, and it was final for me in that moment on just the other day on Monday when the celebration of life happened, that it is a celebration of life. Death to darkness, death to bad energy, death to covert narcissists and any narcissist, death to people mistreating people and getting away with it and not being called on it, death to me avenging myself. But God says, vengeance is mine, says the Lord. God will avenge my enemies. No weapon will prosper. God will avenge it. He's seen everything. So there's no reason to defend, dispel, or air people out. And I sent a stern warning. Don't do that. Don't do that. But I realized that once it's said and done, it's done. It's in the grave. There's nothing you can go back and do or undo. And even in grief in the physical body, when you take a loss of a loved one, you want to reflect on the good memories and the things that you had. So in the living, I used to tell this person, what would I say over your coffin if God called you home? Live intentional to make sure you treat people good who God sends into your life. Be intentional to not poison people, to not make them settle for what you've settled with your unaddressed issues. Be intentional to respect what people have sacrificed. And just because you haven't sacrificed or dealt with your issues or crises doesn't make you a better person to just impose those things and pass your work off for somebody else to do. God is calling you to do your work so that you can have your breakthrough, so that you can testify about it. It's not something to go back and forth about. You can't evade it. What you will do is continue to pack your bags and your baggage and take them to and from, and you will be able to blame everybody, but it will always be a woe unto me victim story because you haven't done your work. And what I learned and I took away, and my power in the takeaway of departing from this, is I'm proud of me. I'm proud I do my work, not done, not did. I'm proud I take accountability. I'm proud that I haven't left remnants and poop pebbles everywhere I've gone for somebody else to clean up my mess. I'm so proud of that. I'm proud that I'm not bitter enough to have to get up and be anything other than Ava Cherie and know that she's fabulous. I'm proud that I can stand on it, and I'm not sad that, or I'm not ashamed of what people may say because of how I talk or how I identify and speak on things of truth. I'm proud that I'm not hiding behind a mask of any spirit that is opposite of God. I'm proud that I can be myself and be thankful that I've accomplished so many things I can't take credit for, but God can. I'm proud of that. How to endure during the suffering is be proud that you made it, because what was sent to break you and cause you to suffer also could have killed you. And when a person don't care about that, when a person don't care about themselves, they haven't endured anything. They have false endurance. They feel like because they get through one more chaotic, sporadic thing that they've caused, they're resilient. That's not resilience, sir, ma'am. Resilience is, in spite of what you're going through, You serve at the highest capacity with no lying and deception and no intentions and no gain. A lot of times there's no gain other than God being well pleased. And that's the greatest, highest form of reward you can seek out. So whoever is watching, I'm thankful. I'm thankful. And just know that during your suffering, remember the times you fell before and you scraped them knees up and you was praying so bad and your makeup was running because you was crying. Remember those times. Remember how far back it was. But remember how God brought you out. I'm talking about shot you up like a rocket. Think on those things, and the other things, the harsh things, the dark things that get further away. My history and memories are getting so far away, so far in my rear view, because I knew the whole time that this relationship would be extinct, operating like that. I knew all the time. I can't say I didn't. I knew the entire time. When I get to the final version of the character, when the last scene come and I actually see who it is, I knew it was done and a done. So I started healing years ago. I started healing heavy last year. So I want to say that'll piss some people off. That'll make some people mad who want you to be unhealed like them, who want to use things against you that they've sat and watched and listened to. But because you was able to sit and watch means that we're transparent and you don't know how to be. But I want to send a cautionary note to the people that do that type of stuff. Be careful who you watch, what you watch, and how you try to turn it against people. Because you're so busy watching how to become the next person. It's idolatry, it's witchcraft. You're busy being busy, emulating everything around you, doing things that's treacherous. You ain't watching your back door because you're too busy trying to find the next victim. And I'm praying for people like that, because you're on a field of wolves and thieves and deceivers. And if you don't work for Satan and get the job done and get a next victim to potentially take them out of here, because that's what that kind of stress does. Satan gonna come in your back door and be sitting in your space, in your habitat, and he gonna say, we don't need you no more. And the way he gonna expose you, the way you think you exposing other people, the way you think you're manipulating other people, the way Satan throw you away and discard you is gonna be something else. And I pray that nobody I know that I've ever been attached to, or nobody I'm going to meet, will ever have to live that hell. Because you're already kind of living a hell, walking around here doing the stuff you're doing. Need to cut it out. So I'm getting ready to go. I'm gonna continue to heal. I'm gonna continue to allow God to release some things without blasting people, because I don't want to do that, because it's very easy. But you know, I don't blast without evidence. But I don't think these are the platforms for that. I want to shine with the glory of God to show my healing. I want to shine with the glory of God to show my truthfulness. And I'm gonna stick to the script of who I am, because I don't need to change the script, because I ain't a character. I am the story. I am with the Almighty Father, the beginning and the end. So all of that in between, that ain't me. Bad actors will always fall off. Bad actors always have to idolize something. Bad actors and their script of manipulating and hurting people maliciously, it never ends well for them. But we pray for them anyway. God's love, God's healing, God's best to you all. This is your girl, Miss Motivational Mogul Mindset, Ava Sheree, the Inspire.